What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Full Court Talk. And today we have a very special episode. As you can see, we have someone new. His name is Daniel Pardo. He is a part of the DPC Labs. So welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. I'm really excited. So for people that don't know what DPC Labs is, can you briefly explain what you guys do?
Yeah, absolutely. So at DBC Labs, we're creating digital player cards as NFTs in the new age of Web3 as sort of a digital collectible to own. If you're a college athlete or professional athlete, we assist them in creating, these cards to sell to their micro community of fans, for their fans to be able to own and engage with them. And if they're in high school or younger, they can purchase one to own as a digital collectible to just invest in themselves and just have themselves as just a cool souvenir. So we work with all athletes of all sports. The big thing for us is we don't want to tell someone, hey, you're not a big athlete. Sorry, you can't make one. We assist any athlete of any sport, of any level, to be able to create these cards.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty cool idea, especially with how NFTs kind of taken over recently.
Yeah, exactly. So with what we saw with NFTs, it was all about how can we find the way to help the athlete, and so we saw what was happening in the space, and we saw nothing that helped every athlete. We saw a lot of really good projects with Top Shot, NFL All Day, what Candy Digital is doing, what Autograph from Tom Brady's company. But they work with the 1% of athletes, and even Recur with the college, the newest college tape that just came out. It's all the 1% of the athletes. And we looked at that and said, well, how can we help everyone? And when we looked at the aggregate sum of all these athletes, we said, there's a place for it. There is a way to help any athlete, even, a G League guy who goes on a 10-day. They have the ability to sell something to even 50, 100 fans. And for them, it might not be a lot of money, but it's something. And it's a beginning step to just enter the Web3 world, learn the business, and then essentially have an extra engagement with their fans. So whether it be a fan helping them choose what they wear in their pregame fits before they walk up to the arena, or they help choose what socks they wear in the game, or get a training session. There's all different levels of engagement and opportunity that an athlete can provide to their fans when they sell one of these cards.
That's pretty cool. And then, before we get too far into it, for people that don't really understand what an NFT is, can you briefly explain what that is?
Yeah. So, I mean, NFT stands for non-fungible token. But personally, the way I view NFTs is it's a digital collectible on the blockchain network that can be verified. So essentially, you want to verify that you took a photo. You can put that on the blockchain, and now it's verified through the blockchain, through the address it provides you, that that's your photo. You took it. If you want to, a video, you can do that. Any moment, you can do that. So memorabilia, you're seeing a lot in the space, people bridging physical and digital assets. You're seeing a lot of that right now. And so I'd say that's where I see the space going, is utilizing NFTs, not just for the art that you see, not just for the Bored Ape pictures, but for that verification access that you have with NFTs.
Yeah, I think I'm personally not into it as much just because I can't afford NFTs, but I find them really interesting because I listen to Andre Iguodala talk, and like he's really big on NFTs, and it's just the whole world of NFTs is very different, obviously.
Absolutely. And I mean, so you talk price, and they're expensive. A big thing for us is like we want that level of entry for everyone. So like for an athlete, they'll sell a card anywhere from $35 to, maybe 250, depending on who the athlete is in their tier. But our plot, like we have three tiers of cards. So that lowest tier of cards, silver, it may not get you the same engagement that the gold or platinum card would get you, but it still gives you that barrier, that ability to enter the Web3 world, the NFT world, at a much lower level and a much lower price than a majority of other projects that people are buying into. You're not having to buy into for a few hundred right from the start. You have the ability to come in and just, tip your toes in the water, start to see what it's like. And that's really what it is for us, is that adoption. It's to help bring in not only the athletes for that education and adoption, but it's the fans and it's their communities, because I see sports really playing a big role in the long-term longevity of Web3 and what can be done. And I think athletes can take big advantage of it with their brands if it's done the right way.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think NBA Top Shot was like the big thing for a little bit, but it's definitely an interesting role. Then when I get some more money, I definitely plan
Absolutely.
to get into NFTs. So I think it's just a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, what Top Shot's done is awesome. I mean, they essentially have built a product for the fan to be able to own, those highlights of the athlete. But Top Shot doesn't benefit the athlete and direct fan engagement from the athlete to the fan. The NBA, yes, they provide their tickets, they do that, but there's nothing directly for the fans from the athletes. And that's what we do. We look to provide the athlete directly the revenue split, and then we work with the athletes, fans directly to provide that engagement. So for us, the difference in what we see from Top Shot and us is that we're not going to the corporation working with them saying, hey, we're giving you more money. We're going to the individual athletes saying, hey, we want to help you out because you're the creator, you're the one that's making the highlight. So a lot of these guys have high school tapes that they own and they have the IP to. So we essentially will assist them in attaching a highlight tape from high school from a workout onto that card.
Yeah, I think that's obviously a lot different, and I like that. I think that's different enough from Top Shot. And then so you mentioned the benefits. So can you mention like briefly like what kind of benefits a card holder would get?
Yeah, so it really depends. The athlete gets to determine what they want uh, to be their like perk utility. In the NFT space, they call it utility. It's really a perk giveaway opportunity when you buy into the project, and so we let our athletes determine what is going to be that opportunity. It can be anywhere from a training session, a thank you, a thank you video saying thanks for buying my card, training sessions. Some want to do a golf outing. It can get unique, helping them choose what outfits they wear for their pregame fits, maybe the socks they wear during a game. There's all different ways that athletes can utilize and offer opportunities. And that's where we work with the athletes, but we also leave it up to the athletes to make that decision.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty cool idea because I think that's something a lot different, especially with how athletes are viewed in America, where they're like almost gods, like I guess you could say the biggest ones at least. So I think that's a pretty cool idea.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's been awesome to create and build and have a product that we can actually help athletes with.
Yeah, definitely. And then so you mentioned younger than high school. So what is the youngest athlete you would offer NFTs to for them to buy?
So anybody could buy a card as young. Like you could have a 3-year-old on the golf course, and if a parent wants to purchase a card for their 3-year-old on the golf course for that, saying first time on the golf course, they can do that. Essentially, the way I view the youth model is give them a souvenir, a digital collectible for them to own. When I played basketball growing up, my parents bought me a physical player card of myself. I have no idea where it is, and I just thought, how unique would that be if I still had that? And if it was digitally, if it was as an NFT, I would. And so that right there is what we saw for the youth model was let's give them that souvenir. Let's give them something that the athletes, the professional college athletes also own themselves. So we've set up a way for not, if someone went on our website right now, dpc-nft.com, they could type in their name, their information, put their high school, their AAU team, middle school, or whatever it is, send us a photo and video of themselves. They'd have to own a Phantom wallet, which is where you buy on Solana. We can get into that later. But that's, and then they can mint the card, purchase the card, and, on our back end, we'll get that information, recreate their card, and then resend it back to them without them having to do anything else. So, right, someone has the ability to go on our site and create their own card right now. And that's, I think, so unique because there's no one doing that. No one's giving athletes of any age the opportunity to own a digital collectible of themselves. And I think that just as much as helping the athletes, monetize on their brands is important. So,
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that's a really unique view to NFTs, and I think giving the chance for everyone to have one, I think that's a good idea too. I like that.
thanks. And the biggest thing for us was when it comes to adoption and entering NFTs, everyone has this viewpoint that I have to buy an NFT because it's got to raise value. It's got to be an investment because I'm watching the Bored Apes, I'm watching the CryptoPunks, and everything's flying in price, and that's why I'm buying into a project. But why does it have to be that way? It doesn't. Anybody can own. The purpose of verification on the blockchain can be for a souvenir. It can be for a digital collectible. Why does an asset have to be something that you're looking at the floor price, the floor price, saying how high is it going? When is it going to gain value? It doesn't always have to. Yes, we'd like that. And if one of our high school athletes ends up becoming a top professional player, they have an opportunity to monetize and sell their card. But if it's just a souvenir that they own for the rest of their life, I promise you that's something awesome they'll be able to show their kids when they're older.
Yeah, I think that's part of the coolest part is that you can own someone's past, and especially for the athlete, they can kind of always have that close to them. So I think that's a really cool part of it too. And then, so can you kind of explain the pricing levels for athletes to buy into NFTs?
Yeah. So if you're in high school, it's $75 for you to come on and purchase a card. But that's everything's priced in Solana, which is the blockchain that we build on. Why? Because we wanted a low barrier to entry for parents. There's something called gas fees. It's like a transaction fee. And some of the other blockchains, when you purchase on, have much higher, gas fees. Solana doesn't. So we're building there so that even public school systems can be able to help their kids get these cards without spending a lot of money on it. But as to that, that is how you purchase it. You need that wallet right now, so you have to download a Phantom wallet on your phone, which is where Solana is held. The nice thing is MoonPay has given, which is a credit card transaction company, has a partnership with Phantom Wallet. So you can go download the wallet on your phone, create it, and then with a credit card or a debit card, purchase right there on your phone. And so for us, that makes it a lot easier for people to be able to get into the space. And obviously, there still is a barrier to entry, but it gets us closer. So they go on there, they attach their wallet, and then they purchase it. Like I said, the purchase your own card is what we call 0.55 SOL. Comes out to anywhere from that could go anywhere. It could be $88 one day, it could be 50 another. If you catch the market low, you'll get a player card for a much lower price. So that's where it's priced to create your own card. And then for the athletes cards, like I said, it's priced anywhere from 35 to it could be 250, 500 if the athlete's that big of an athlete and he's only selling 5 cards. The platinum cards we tier usually anywhere from $100 to $250, depending on who the athlete is. The gold, it's anywhere from 55 to 85, and then our silvers are anywhere from 35 to 55.
Okay, so they are much more affordable than other NFT companies, I would say.
Yeah, and that's probably the most important thing is you don't want to just put up an NFT and try to make the most money from it. You want to put up something that's going to actually create value, that's going to provide something for the fans and also back to the athlete. Because if you throw something up for $1,500 like some of these other websites and you put 1,000 of them up, that's unrealistic. I mean, very few athletes can sell 1,000 of NFTs at $1,500 a pop. I mean, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, I think that is very reasonable. But can you kind of explain who the big athletes you have so far?
Yeah, so I can't name a few. We have a lot in the pipeline now that our marketplace is up and live, and proof of concept is there, and people can see this is real. But we're working with BJ Johnson. He's a former G League 10-day player for the Orlando Magic. So we're working with BJ, Amon Richards, former University of Miami receiver, Harold Calderon. He's a big boxer. He should be having a big time fight coming up soon. That'll be announced. Some teaser stuff there will be happening. And then I can't name the few that are coming up in the pipeline as their content is currently being created. But that's some of the bigger names. We work a lot, like I said, with every athlete, all athletes. So we've got a few athletes coming, from a few of the big universities, is all I can say. We have some lacrosse players that'll be coming out with some cards in college and in professional. And then we have, like I said, a few universities who are working on some things for their athletes. So it's fun. It's a lot, but it's awesome to help athletes and find a way to give them an opportunity to not only make money in the space, but learn about the space and be able to enter it.
Yeah, I like that idea because I think a lot of NBA, as much as I love it, they don't want to help the athletes as much. And I think that's a good idea because I think athletes have worked so hard in their lives and then to get to this point. So I like that. And then can you kind of briefly explain how DPC was founded?
Yeah. So I went to college with a buddy of mine, Jacob Bick, and we had always wanted to go into business together, and we just were trying to figure out, what's the right way. And Web3 sort of NFTs sort of started taking off. My wife works at Blockworks, which is a media company for crypto media, and I started really following and reading just where things are in the space, and started looking at ticketing, started looking at other things, and then the player cards sort of came about through a few potential opportunities. And when we really started to study, the market, what we can do in the space, our connections in the space, we then brought in two of my really good home friends growing up. Schreier Desenor goes by Junior, and then Cambrell Roach. Cambrell and I went to high school together at Ransom Everglades here over in Miami. And so essentially we have that team of 4, and we've really just been nonstop. And so, once we got together as a group, we just kind of took off and ran with it. We went from just creating player cards for athletes to now being able to do it for the youth. And, it's just been a kind of constant growth of what we're doing. But it's fun growth. So.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see how you guys keep progressing because it seems like you guys just keep going up and up, and I'm excited. It seems like a really great idea.
Thank you. It's been,
yeah, of course. Man.
No, I was just saying thank you. I appreciate that. It's been, we just launched the marketplace last week for our, our closed beta. So it's been awesome to sort of start to get there.
Yeah. And then, so you said you just launched recently. Can you kind of explain the overall feedback you've gotten so far?
Yeah, absolutely. So on the athlete side, it is overwhelming because, like I said, we're one of the few platforms that's actually willing to work with any athlete. We're getting a lot of outreach right now to just find opportunities and ways to assist their athletes, whether it's their marketing agencies, things like that. Because with NIL, as you know, you can make money in college now. So a lot of these college players who normally, they're not going to get the social media deals, they're not going to go get the, Under Armour or Adidas branding deals. They still have opportunities with their fans to make money. So we're getting a lot of reach out from there. And the youth model, parents are very interested in being able to have a collectible with their kid. And so the feedback there is just every time we've shown a parent the card we've created for their kid, they're in awe. They don't expect to see what they see. They just sort of expect a little place card with something. So being able to see a dynamic card with a video for them is I think special.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what sets you guys apart. And I think that's a really good idea for you guys because it's a unique take on NFTs, basically.
Thanks. I appreciate that. It's exciting. It's like I said, it's cool to build something that I would have wanted as a kid. That I find that really, really kind of fun. Not just kind of, I'm looking to build something just to kind of build it. It kind of has more meaning to it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most important things for sure. And can you kind of explain what your goals for the future are for DPC?
Yeah, so our goal for the future is to be the player card, the digital player card for all athletes. We want to be the go-to platform that If you're an athlete and you want to, sell to your micro community of fans, we'll assist you on that. If you're a high school athlete, middle school, youth, and you want to own a card as a souvenir, we'll help you with that. We want to be, the tops of just digital trading player cards for everyone. We want everyone to be walking around with their wallets saying, do you own a DPC card? Because here's mine. I do. That's the goal. Mainstream this so much that everyone wants to own a digital, a DPC card of themselves.
Yeah, I think that's a great goal to have, and I think it's definitely achievable. And then how do you expect to really get there?
So that is a little bit of some secret sauce behind how we're developing the company and the business. So I can't share that. But it's scalability. It's understanding how the business works and knowing what's our scale, and then building the right products behind the company to be able to do that. It's not easy, but a big thing for us is having that personalized card, having something that not the athlete doesn't just have because it's easy to create, but because it's unique and special and personalized. And so it might take a little more time to create our card because we're not just, photoshopping a photo in, but it's for that personalized experience in the card.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And I think I'm excited. I think this is something I could really get behind.
We'll get you a card. We got to get you a card of you.
We might have to. It's probably coming soon. And my final question. So what would your dream scenario for DPC Labs be? Like in the future, 50 years, 20 years, whatever you want. Like, what is your dream scenario?
I've created this company so well, and we're such a big company at that point that we're working with teams on sponsorship deals for all their camps for everything sports. That would be amazing, to essentially be integrated into the entire youth market of sports, to just be able to help them enter Web3, and then have grown this college professional sports, side out so much that it's not just the side, it's a consulting agency too. I mean, I guess that would be dream, is that it's, kind of two peas in a pod working together. But we have a long way to go for that. But we're excited. We're excited to be able to get to build something like that.
Yeah, well, I'm very excited to see how you guys go. I'm definitely gonna keep up with you guys. But that's gonna do it for us. This is a real quick episode, but a really interesting episode, I think. So thank you, Daniel, for being a part of this.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it, and happy to come on anytime, talk NBA, NFTs, whatever it might be.
Yeah, I'm definitely down. But I'm going to put your link down in the description for social media, Instagram, Twitter, everything.
Perfect.
Check out DPC Labs. As you guys can see, they have a lot going on, and I'm very excited to see how everything goes. But that's going to do it for us. So we'll catch you guys in the next one.